prostitution whore.
Don't do this.
Clip! You fool!
You have no idea what she's done to me. You have no...
Oh, it's much better.
Today we're starting with a new shift, talking VPR's reboot. We also discussed the music excitement that is seeing DJ Meredith Marks in person and giving our TLDRs about Southern Charm, Potomac, and Salt Lake City after a 2-week hiatus. Listen, your friends and family might think this is trash TV. Your mom might have called your love for emo music a phase. But here we know pop culture moments and alternative music scene shaped us and still do. So let's laugh together, cry together, scream at the TV together. Welcome to The Breakdown. Hey, saddies. I am Bronwyn's bucket face shape.
I am whatever Lisa is doing with 2 horses, which is nobody's business.
What's up? So we're coming back from a 2-week break. We got a lot to cover. Let's get into it. So first, we want to start with our watch of Vanderpump Rules, a new shift. We're just going to call it a new shift. I don't think it deserves the name, to be honest.
Give it the original name, Just the Tip.
Yeah, Just the Tip. That's what we'll start.
Vanderpump Rules, Just the Tip. Because it's 20% of the original show. No, I'm kidding.
That's all the tip is?
I mean,
oh yeah,
that's
tip,
the
tip,
standard.
tip.
Like,
I get it.
Standard,
that one.
We typically tip more, just so the world knows.
No, I was thinking of the other Just the Tip, and I thought you were saying that it's 20%.
I mean, I'm sure for some people that like the tip is like, hey, this is. If you don't like that, you're not going to like the rest of the other 80%, baby.
We could go on for days about this topic. But let's get into, I went down a little stalking session of the new cast because there's a lot of rumors out there that they're all playing it up for the camera, too self-aware. So I really wanted to know, like, what's the intention and drive behind them being on the show?
Well, should we talk about how we got to this question?
Yeah, by watching it, right?
Yeah, Val, I was more so, should we talk about the show a little bit?
Sure.
So I guess what are your very brief thoughts of the show overall, or episode 1 and 2 in particular?
So episode 1, I felt like Natalie, she's the bartender, probably supposed to be the star of the show. She can sing. Everyone loves Venus. A few people said that Venus was their best friend. And then Shane is an F-boy. That's what I got out of the first episode.
I enjoy Shane. Actually, I'm gonna put it this way: Shane is the type of douchebag that I enjoy, and Marcus is the type that I don't. if that makes sense.
For now, we're only 2 episodes.
Yeah, we're only 2 episodes in, but like Shane's whole the negative energy that he brings in terms of like the type of douche he is kind of seems very like, it seems pretty benign. Like he had the really good line on last episode. He goes, "Has anyone ever told you that I have the most beautiful eyes?" And I fell out of my chair on that one. It's so stupid, but it's so funny to me.
Yeah, and he knows he's a douche.
Yeah. I think he really owns it.
He
and
leans
leans
into it.
Yes. What is it, Sheryl Sandberg? He's leaning in on this one.
What'd you think about it?
I think overall, I think it's fine. I don't think it's as good as Southern Hospitality yet.
Yeah.
But these shows always, in my opinion, even Southern Hospitality did, and even OG Vanderpump, in my opinion, they take a few episodes to marinate. Sometimes they take a whole season. I mean, season 2 and 3, I believe, of Southern Hospitality compared to season 1, like,
was a lot better.
Yeah, that's when the show really came into its own. I feel like sometimes they have to spend a little bit of time figuring out who they are and all that, which I think is, they're allowed.
They're allowed.
But a couple highlights. Well, actually, first of all, big question is, why is the audio so bad?
Yeah,
the audio on this show is terrible. It sounds like they put a sock over every microphone.
Yeah, I was watching it on my iPad on the plane coming back from our vacation, and I thought it was like my new headphones, or maybe because I had to download the recording on. But no, the audio was just bad when we watched it again.
Yeah, I put it on the TV. I even watched even watching the second episode. I was like, oh, it has to be better. Maybe they fixed it. Doesn't seem great. It also seems to be like particular people get it worse than others. Like I know Demi's confessionals, I think, have some of the worst audio in the entire show. Besides that, Lisa threatening to fire people now is very funny to me. Like in Vanderpump Rules OG, it felt quite serious. But at this point, I mean, they already have the job that they really came to serve for in the first place, which is they're on television on Vanderpump Rules. So it doesn't really matter if you fire them. As who's like,
I mean, they could lose their spot in the cast, though.
They could, but I don't know. I feel like once you get so far, then you're probably in, but I could be wrong. And then the very last scene of episode 2, for those of you that haven't watched, I think this alone was really worth both episodes for. Without any serious context, Kim crying to Natalie while Jason is stripping for Audrey, all at the exact same time in the exact same room, like 3 to 5 feet from each other. Yeah, no, it's 2 separate couches, but I think these 2 sets of people were about 5 feet from each other. Absolutely sent me. And the fact that they knew to highlight that in editing was great. Again, we'll see how it pans out. I don't think we're ever going to get OG Vanderpump back. I think that's one of those like lightning in a bottle. You really can't recreate that type of magic.
And I was most excited for like seeing poor people on my screen again. You know, people that are aligned with a similar income bracket as us.
Yeah.
Especially
well, hold on. Whoa.
In those in that age, like
working class people.
There's someone that's 22. Audrey is 22 years old, hosting a rooftop party.
Yeah.
And we also like. Obviously, and a lot of them have like really nice apartments. I didn't like it.
But most of them don't have apartments. Most of them have houses, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like most of these people have multi-bedroom apartments or a house with at most one roommate. And so this begged the question of
where you get your money at?
Yeah, what are these people doing? Or how do these people get this money? Is this just from their parents? What's going on? Because that's one thing that I really appreciate about Southern Charm is that it doesn't seem like there's a ton
Southern
of Nepo babies.
hospitality.
Southern Hospitality.
Southern Charm is full of them.
Yeah, sorry. Southern Hospitality, the working class Southern Charm.
Yeah, it's like everybody was Emmy and Will. They all have some type of money from their parents. All right, so because we watched and we were like, where do these kids get their money from? We did a little bit of a deep dive on everyone. So first starting with Chris, Han, and Jason Cohen, half cousins. Their moms are half sisters, which makes them half cousins.
Okay, just call them cousins. I feel like cousins is a catch-all.
They call themselves half cousins. I don't know why
I've heard a lot of people say cousins for people they aren't even related to.
I'm doing this because they did it, okay?
Valid.
I'm using their words against them. So Chris is a bartender and Jason's a server. They're both new to SUR. Starting in episode 1, they're about like 3 weeks in. These fellas, I'm lumping them together in the stalking that I did because they do so much of the same things. They both
and production lumps them together.
Yeah. So they were both on Dated and Related together, and then Chris separately was on Netflix's Perfect Match. I'm surprised Jason wasn't like waiting in the rafters. Maybe he was. Chris does. He's a brand ambassador for Fashion Nova Men. Actually, they both are. They're both brand ambassadors for Fashion Nova Men. They both also model for Ace Models Athens division. I couldn't find Jason's profile. He has it tagged in his bio. So maybe it's a new development or maybe he's lying. I don't know. But they both say that they are. They both have OnlyFans. Jason's name on there.
How is it? Rate the OnlyFans. What was your experience?
So you can subscribe to both for free. I just chose not to.
Oh, okay. Fine.
But Chris's...
Fine, I guess. Whatever.
Chris's handle is Axel Stone. And Jason's is Justin Fox.
Those are good stripper names or OnlyFans names or whatever the term is we're using now. Hey.
All right, whatever you say.
It meets the criteria for a good stripper name, in my opinion. Also, I'm sorry, URL is Italian Stallion 3.
Yeah, Chris's is Italian Stallion 3.
I like that there were at least 2 before, possibly 3 before. Because I figure someone just wanted Italian Stallion. Then
there's
Italian
2
Stallion
before.
1 and then 2.
No, there's also just Italian Stallion probably too.
That's what I said.
So 3 before. So Jason, look at his links. I'm showing you these right now on his Instagram profile. You know how you can have like a link tree.
Yeah.
So his are full of like his resume. modeling stuff. This is what I don't like, though. Chat with the AI Jason.
That's insane.
And then he also puts, like, I mean, he has just randomly donations in the middle in quantities of 15, 20, or 150. Just goes right up to
I mean,
him.
honestly, that's like...
And then,
sure. Why wouldn't you? Here's the thing that jumps out at me about all this is like my understanding is that in a lot of these types of situations, especially with an OnlyFans, like people can get very parasocial very fast, similar to if this takes off someday, how people tend to be about podcasts, especially ones where you're paying for a Patreon subscription, right? We've seen it with a lot of our favorite shows where hardcore fans get really, really crazily parasocial with these people.
Yeah.
And so you think about like someone's, using this person as like more or less their jerk off toy on the internet. And I can imagine some people probably get a little obsessive and like part of what they're probably paying for or looking for is like, hey, I want to talk to you.
he's too accessible, though.
Well, I think that's what the AI thing's for. I think he's outsourcing some of that emotional labor to ChatGPT.
But like, he has a Cameo. He has the OnlyFans free subscription. He also linked an article that says he and Chris, it's from OK Magazine, him and Chris are replacing Schwartz and Sandoval.
Oh my God.
I don't know if he's watched the show, but he reposted that as well. So I'm sus about Jason. Obviously, him and Chris are on there for fame.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone's on there for.
Well, they make it very obvious. Jason also feels he's an actor. He's been in some stuff, and
I like that line. Feels he's an actor. I feel like we should start. I feel like we should start putting that caveat. Like at a certain point, even if you've worked real acting jobs, you feel like an actor.
Well, if you. I'm going to link a bit of the research in the description, but like I found his acting reel and he's not good, to be honest.
There you go. That'll do it.
And I also can see, so there are a few cast members that are obviously like trying to give past cast members, like give us the same energy because the recipe worked with the previous Vanderpump Rules. So I'm sure they were told to play it up in some fashion. I don't think they're giving Schwartz and Sandy. I think they're giving Max and Brett, those duds that came and went in one season because they were racist. I'm not saying that.
Max and Brett.
Yeah, you don't even remember who they are.
I don't even remember. Wait, was one the manager of?
Yeah, Tom.
Oh my God.
That's what they're giving to me. They're giving like forced on the cast because they're quote unquote good looking and
Max was not good looking.
quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote. Valid.
Do they remind you of anyone?
No, I'm resisting the urge to the best of my ability to say, oh, these people are supposed to be this person. Because even like, again, we see that article say, oh, they're supposed to be Schwartz and Sandy. But I did not see that at any point really from them. Like even I don't know, like their behavior just isn't the same. It's literally just they're close, they're friends, they're like cousins, they're like brothers, just like the Toms. It's like, okay, I mean, fine, but that's a low bar. Can no one else be friends without getting accused of being Schwartz and Sandy? Let's see if one of them cheats on their girlfriend of a decade. We'll take it from there.
Let's see. All right, so next up,
let's also see if either of them can handle opening a restaurant, which is definitely not happening the way it seems like Sir's going.
And I heard Tom isn't under Tom like Schwartz and Sandy anymore.
I've heard that. I haven't really looked into that one. It does seem like Sir is certainly no pun intended, certainly struggling right now. They make a big point of saying that on the show. I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet suggesting that if this doesn't revitalize Sir or like at least keep it afloat, then Lisa's probably going to close it.
Yeah, she should.
Yeah.
So up next, I would say Chris and Jason have the biggest digital footprint. It's very easy to find information about them. It's very easy to find their OnlyFans. They link it numerous places. But Venus Binkley is very hard. Digital footprint, almost non-existent aside from like Instagram. And
wait, where did we get crimply from?
The crimped hair. You don't remember?
Oh no, I don't.
So perfect. It was a confessional look.
Oh, sorry. Did he say Crimply? Or
No.
is that just... Oh, okay, sorry.
That's my name.
Oh, my bad, sorry.
So Venus is a server and honestly a mystery, an enigma. I could really only find a backstage profile and then like obvious social links that are out there. But I do think that the name on everyone's lips. This is not how the tune goes. Binkley.
What is that song?
It's a Chicago reference.
Oh, my bad.
The Roxy one. The name on... I'm just singing it wrong.
Honestly, don't even get me into... I went down a rabbit hole about like the stunt cast nature of Chicago.
Yes,
I forget who's playing Roxy now? Oh, my
Whitney
God.
from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Yeah, so I saw, looked into whatever you want to say. I went down a rabbit hole for like 2 hours about just like the stunt casting nature of Chicago and the fact that it's so long running because it is cheap to produce and you basically just pour money into a stunt lead for Roxy.
Hey, I mean, Erica Jane and Ariana Madix and Lisa Rinna, they still are doing the big things.
Yeah. No, it's just like
Nene Leakes.
Let's pause here. Have any of these people been training in musical theater their whole life?
Ariana.
No.
She's maybe not musical theater, but improv, dancing, and theater.
Yeah, it's just, I think there's a difference between like, if you look at any other Broadway show, these people do this. It's their full-time job. They don't do anything else.
Whitney from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives has been dancing since she was a wee child.
Yes, but you've listed many things that do not encompass the full level of training that anyone on Broadway has to have.
Wow, what a side note here.
Sorry.
Back to Vanderpump Rules new shift.
Hey, you're the one that did Chicago.
Yes, I did it so well that
it was
it struck something in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
So Venus unfortunately doesn't have an OnlyFans. And I also feel that they are their own person. I couldn't really tie them back to a cast member from previous seasons, but we'll just say like Ariana because I think everybody likes them.
Yeah. I was going to start saying people are James. Venus is James, sorry.
Next up is Demi Salem. So she's the manager of SUR, been there for 7 years, was there when the Vanderpump Rules we know and love was being taped. Also hard to find anything about her online. Doesn't have much of a digital footprint. Also doesn't seem to be like an aspiring actress or anything.
Yeah, this seems to be her job.
Yeah.
Like this is like, hey, she's here to work and is fine with being on the show, which is great.
Yeah, she's giving Peter Magical to me. And mixed with a little bit of Dana with like the
Dana
dry.
Was an aspiring comedian though.
Yeah, I mean like the dry delivery of everything.
Oh yeah.
But yes, Peter because she's doing what she has set out to do.
It's like she's just trying to do a job when the cameras are on, which honestly I appreciate. It's part of why I liked Peter on Old Vanderpump. I have a feeling I'm going to like Demi.
Me too. I can't figure out any because she also just seems level-headed, real.
Yeah. Again, she's here. She's just here to. I'm just trying to run the restaurant.
Up next is someone who's definitely there to not do his job. Yeah, Marcus
he's
Johnson.
Pretty open about it. Marcus is pretty open about it.
A server who just. I kept rewinding the scenes of him interacting with tables because I'm like, no, you don't do it that way.
Yeah, what was the one line? You want some dessert or should I just get the checkout? Which honestly, that's one thing. If you're slammed and trying to flip tables like crazy, I get it. Like especially if a table's like camping out and keeping you from making more money, that's fine. But sir, you can see it in the edges of every frame. Like it's not packed, so he has no reason to move this table out of the way. And
you can tell Natalie, the manager, that cried because, or she's like, she's bigger, larger.
She's like
than
a
manager.
She's a co-owner or something.
But she cried after seeing Marcus take swigs of sangria in the back on camera. You can tell like he's just a problem. He probably isn't trying to upsell. He probably doesn't make them a lot of money, but he's still there for some reason.
I'm sure they're not making much money. It seemed to me like the issue with him drinking was not the ethics and legality of someone drinking on the job. It literally seemed like he's wasting product.
Right.
Like, what can we do about this?
No, because even there was that short scene with Kim and Venus talking about how many tips they made, and Venus is like, "Oh, I made $250 tonight," And Kim goes, oh, so we're splitting 500 between 8 of us. Which, first of all, means someone's not pulling their weight serving. If Venus made 250 and out of 8 of you, there's only another 250 that's tacked on to that.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Like, what the hell are y'all doing?
That's not a livable wage in West Virginia. Like, what do you mean we're trying to live off of that money in L.A.?
Yeah, I don't know what 500 divided by 8 is.
It's less than 100.
Oh, God.
In a night.
Yeah, $62 and
in
50
a night.
cents.
That is not going to work.
But Marcus is a dick because he's an orphan. We find that out in episode 2.
We gotta re-record that one.
What?
Not literally, but
I mean, he's a dick, and he says it's because he lost both his parents.
Okay, even that's better. Then Marcus is a dick because he's an orphan, and you know how orphans are.
You know them orphans. But he treats his girlfriend pretty shitty. He, for some reason, is picking fights or causing fights to erupt between her and another person on the cast that we'll get to in a bit. He's also an aspiring model, has done modeling gigs in the past, but he says he's like the budget model. So if you need someone for $500, yeah. And then I also read in his Bravo bio that he's an aspiring DJ. I can't find any evidence that he's been doing DJ stuff online, but because of the DJ career things, I'm just going to say he's the next James Kennedy. And because he is really
is he gonna hit Kim?
Well, him and Kim's relationship do remind me of Kristen Doty and James.
Yeah, valid.
So up next is Kim Suarez, Marcus's girlfriend. She's a server and also aspiring dancer and entertainer, but I can't find anything.
Aspiring entertainer cracks me up because it's so vague.
You can be like a host or a...
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of just like, but as far as like what you bring to the table, it very much gives like, I just think I have that X factor. And it's like, yeah, but what do you do? Like, what's your skill set? Give me a genre. Give me something to grab onto here. You're just an entertainer.
Yeah, she's also not much to find about her online. Sadly, gonna just align with Demi's description of her. She's Marcus's girlfriend. Eek.
Eek.
To me, again, she's the Kristen Doty.
Horrible title.
I was so surprised when Marcus and Natalie were on Watch What Happens Live after the first episode, the premiere episode, and Kim was in the audience with him still. I was like, why are y'all still together?
Honestly. Maybe they're not. I don't know. It's really hard to tell if they're together at any given time.
Yeah, because she wasn't really, I don't know, it was weird. It was a weird interaction.
It's always weird.
Up next is Audrey Lingle. She's a hostess at SUR. She's an aspiring actress and also entertainer.
But again, at least she says actress.
And she has said that she wants to be in horror movies. She's the one with the really good horror
Which
scream.
also realistic goals. That's where you start, I feel like.
Yeah.
If you're trying to be an actor in movies, you're either starting with bit parts and you start there and work your way into typically early leading roles are horror movies or some weird indie film. Like
Jamie Lee Curtis. So I also read that she's into comedy as well. So she does some stand-up
That's
too.
next. Also, two very closely related genres. I think Audrey at least kind of knows what she's doing.
I think she does too, because she was kind of easier to find information about. She's represented by an agency called Octagon, and that's the same agency as Gabby Wendy, and Rachel Lindsay from The Bachelorette. And she's also represented by Luber Rockland, another agency. And that agency is manages Lucas Gage and a breakout star in Marty Supreme, Odessa Zion as well. So she, I think, she's gonna make it. She reminds me of Stassi and then Charlie mixed together.
Yeah, I mean, at least I think. I imagine she seems like she'll be a fan favorite. I did not like. In episode 2, I did not like listening to the older boys who were in their 30s talk about.
Yeah, I didn't love that.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say Venus and her's conversation because you hated that Venus was talking about that book, The Secret.
Oh my God, that actually did drive me nuts. So to backtrack, apparently Venus is a manifestation coach and is pulling from The Secret, which is a book so ridiculous in its premise that there's an entire Always Sunny episode making fun of it.
But sorry, yeah, Audrey, 22.
Yeah, Audrey's 22 years old, and I really did not appreciate watching a lot of the dudes who were in their 30s episode 2 out to like dinner or drinks or whatever,
Boys'
talking
night.
about Audrey, like, oh, she's like so mature for 22. I'm like, bro, you sound like, I mean, again, she's 22, so I guess it's like whatever, but like it's a bad vibe.
I don't like she's so mature.
Yeah. I was like, dude, maybe you're just immature. You're 31 talking about how you want to doink this 22-year-old, buddy. Like, you're not Leo DiCaprio. And also, really, Leo shouldn't be doing that either. So what are we doing?
Interestingly, the Bravo TV bios for all of these cast members read a bit like a game of Clue, like little character sheets. So it's clear that she's going to be in a love triangle. And it seems like it's going to be between Chris and Shane.
It would have been amazing if it was between Chris and Jason.
I mean, there's a chance.
Make the cousins fight.
Half cousins.
Whatever.
So up next is Shane. He doesn't work at SUR, and he is sober. And I've read that he's sober because he was shot a few times when he was 19 years old for being like entangled in drugs.
Wow.
So he vowed to walk again after that, did physical therapy. Within a year he was able to, and then he like devoted his life to physical therapy and like sober living and mental health to help others.
Huh. I mean, again, like, unfortunately, seems like a solid guy with a fascinating backstory.
Yeah, I don't mind him yet.
Yeah. The more I learn, the more I'm fascinated by Shane, because again, he is outwardly such a douchebag, but I do think that's I forget who talks about it, but like there's kind of a little bit of psychology to that, where like you present yourself as this person, and then when people get close to you, you reveal like a different side of you, that type of thing. Now, again, that can also be used as a manipulation tactic, but it can also just be a matter of, hey, send my clown out to be my delegate.
Manipulation tactic. Speaking of, in that first episode, Shane comes to SUR after hooking up with Natalie previously and saying like, "Oh, never bring a woman."
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Do you remember what you compared him to?
What did I compare him to?
He was like, "Oh, she seemed like she didn't like me, so I decided I was gonna like bring another woman and see what she does." And you said he's like using the dentist system again.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is. Yeah, he was literally trying to dentist Natalie, which honestly, now that we have the cultural language for it, is very funny to me.
So he is signed to Northeast Pictures Talent Management, and they don't really have like a lot of people I know or have heard of, but he has had quite a few series that he's been in. My favorite being Escaping the Mafia, I Married a Homeless Billionaire.
Wow.
And then
wait, hold on. What was the other one? Pregnant and Spoiled by a Billionaire Baby Daddy. What's with the show is Pregnant and Spoiled by a Billionaire Baby Daddy. First of all, who wrote that title? Second of all, what is it with Shane and billionaire shows? Is he the homeless billionaire baby daddy that's running
The
around?
Wrong Twin Got Me Pregnant.
The Wrong Twin? Oh, is that him starring?
I think so.
Is that him on the cover?
Star, yeah.
The Wrong Twin Got Me Pregnant?
It's got an 8.1.
What is this on? I want to watch this now.
I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
Please, in the comments, someone figure out where you can watch the quote "The Wrong Twin Got Me Pregnant" starring Shane Davis.
It looks you can actually watch it on YouTube.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah, so you can catch I Married the Wrong Twin. We'll link it in the description.
Hold on, wait. I thought it's The Wrong Twin Got Me Pregnant.
Oh, the wrong
There's no marriage about this. This is about the wrong twin.
Sorry, Shane. So after
we would never sanitize your truth.
Shane also does not have an OnlyFans. Actually, I guess I don't have to do this for everyone. It's really just the half cousins that
Yeah,
have
I mean, why does he need an OnlyFans when he's out here getting all these other twins pregnant?
And to me, he's giving Schwartzy.
I don't think Schwartz has ever gotten any twins pregnant.
That's a character he's playing, Eric.
Yeah,
Don't
whatever.
forget.
I don't know.
Next,
Prove it. Let's see the show.
we got to watch it after this.
Yeah.
There's no. Next
Canceling
is
our plans for tonight.
Natalie McGuire. She seems to be like who they want to be the star, the Stasi of it all. So she's the bartender and a pop diva, allegedly.
She can actually sing, it seems
Yeah,
like.
she can.
She can sing.
But I can't find... So she is recording this song called Pressure on the first episode, and I can't find it anywhere
Yeah, didn't
online.
Ari Lennox already do Pressure?
Interestingly enough, it's also about a boy she met on Hinge, and we know
Hinge
Julia
Boy,
Wolf
Julia
has the
Wolf.
best
That's
Hinge
already
song.
that's the best. We don't need another
We don't
Hinge
need
song
another
after
Hinge
that.
song. She tends to pull out her phone a lot to read notes on it. I guess that's like her move. It's not it.
Hey, the man with a poor memory must make one out of paper. That's
I guess.
or the lady with a poor memory, whatever.
She also is open to her dad giving her a boob job because he's a plastic surgeon. I'm not really into that.
Yeah, so she's giving more nepo baby
Yeah.
because again, she's like, which is an insane thing to say. Oh, if I wanted new boobs, I could just go and ask my dad for some. That's wild.
She's definitely a nepo baby. She also said she grew up in like in the same school and stuff as Ariana Grande.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
She's 26 and was dating a 54-year-old man named Paolo Gorse, who also works at SUR. I'm not going to go any further into that because he was in a really bad car accident like 2.5 months ago. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to slander his name, but
I mean, if anything, what's there to slander? All we know about him is apparently he's so hot that everyone at SUR wants to be with him. It seems like.
I mean,
Did
you look at
you
him?
showed me pictures. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I should be so lucky to look like that at 50, whatever.
ooh, 54.
54, goddamn.
And she's just giving Sheena.
This is, by the way, not excusing that he's 54 and she's 26. I just want to be crystal clear that I'm not condoning that.
I'm going to look like him and do what he does.
No, that's not what I said. I just want to be in that type of shape. If I
Quote
can.
unquote Eric Reevy. So yeah, she's giving Sheena, especially her affinity for dating older men, aspiring for music.
I feel like Sheena preferred rich or older men, though. Like, Sheena liked older men
Rob.
who were on The Housewives of Beverly Hills or were producers.
Touche. You don't know. Paulo might be making the most money at SUR.
I'm sure he is, but no one. Now see, you almost got me into talking shit. About this injured man, not gonna do it.
So close. And then last but not least is Angelica Jensen. In episode 2, we have still not met her, but she's a hostess, also new to SUR, owns her own swimsuit line.
Least trustworthy occupation.
Hostess?
No. Allegedly
swimsuit
owning a
line. I was like,
swimsuit line. I've seen too much of that in reality shows to believe that it's ever a legitimate business that's doing something.
Yeah, she has 2 swimsuits on her website.
$100 each. No less.
98.
That's $100. That is 98% of $100. We're there.
It's 2 of the same size but different colors. Or 2 of the same styles but different colors. And she's also part of a pretty good talent management agency. So Strand Entertainment. It's the same as Matthew Lillard, Mike Colter. He was the priest in Evil, Derek Huff from Dancing with the Stars, Luke Newton, who's in Bridgerton, Austin Nichols from One Tree Hill, and I Know What You Did Last Summer remake. So she also is like an aspiring entertainer, actress, but is under and represented by a notable management agency. So we'll see. There have been questions about Vanderpump Rules and why they chose to do the reboot at SUR
instead not at the Vegas one.
Yeah. So I personally feel that it would have been a lot more entertaining to have it in a fresher environment, like her Vanderpump locations in Vegas. But
there's something sad about seeing the back alley.
Yeah, and it was like full of like stuff, so they didn't even sit in the right back alley. They went to a bench to the left.
They used to have a table and chairs out there.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But apparently, I was reading that there's a large culinary union for servers, bartenders, kitchen staff, etc. in Vegas, and there's a ton of regulations. So because of that strictness, I'm sure, and the unionization of workers, I'm sure it would be a lot harder to tape a show like this where they Bravo, they exploit people. Let's be real.
That's like how it goes. That's what it's for.
So maybe someday if we can get rid of that pesky union.
Oh my God, don't start with this. We are a pro-union podcast, please.
But that's our opinions of the cast and what we found. And
so I guess where have we landed on like who's a Nepo baby and who's not at this
Natalie
point?
For sure. Audrey, I feel most likely is.
It has to be.
Shane seems like it, but
no,
so,
I feel like Shane's working. Like, look at all his acting credits. Look at like
I don't know when you're
he's not
like,
spending money on booze.
when you're
I feel like,
entangled and if you're in LA entangled in drugs and alcohol at 19 to the point where you're getting shot. I feel like it's because you were like in the bling ring.
I know. I was gonna say I feel like it's because you're selling drugs, which is a working
All
class
right, I
occupation.
won't come at your boy Shane.
He's not my boy.
Sorry.
I'm just let's call a spade a spade. I'm trying to operate on if I can point to realistically where your money comes from, then I'm like, all right, what it's whatever, it's straight. We also haven't seen Shane's house as far as I'm aware or his home, so we don't know his living situation on top of everything. But like, Chris and Jason highly suspicious. Oh, all the OnlyFans stuff that explains it.
Highly
Which again,
suspicious.
cool. Hey, work is work. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah. So I mean, time will tell who the Nepo babies are in due time.
Yeah.
They'll let it slip.
Yeah.
But Natalie, 100%.
Yeah. I guess now it's time to get into, since we spent so much time on Vanderpump, because we figure it's important to, I don't know, give some context on what to expect if you haven't watched that show. Because from what I've gathered, it seems like a lot of people are like, oh, am I really going to commit to this?
I mean,
yet?
you could build a whole show off of that one scene with Kim crying and Audrey getting a lap dance within 5 feet of each other. So I would say give it a try.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a shot. I think it's going to be one of those that ages probably well. I think next season will probably be better. I know we're only 2 episodes in, but I think we'll slowly work into something more enticing the way that Southern Charm or Southern Hospitality, I know I keep mixing those up, has done for us. I suppose now we should get into some brief recaps. I know we're about 2 episodes behind on everything else after being out 2 weeks, but let's give a quick rundown on these other shows.
All right, let's start. We never start with Salt Lake City.
We don't?
No, I feel like we always start with Potomac.
Valid. Well, let's hit Salt Lake City.
So episodes 12 and 13, just to recap, we see Whitney and Justin Rose have a really difficult conversation about the whole MLM drama.
Right, I guess let's talk about that, the whole MLM drama.
Yeah.
So her whole issue, she's been talking all season about how I made a bad business decision. I made a business mistake, et cetera, et cetera. And then she wants people to not talk about her business, which strikes me as so interesting. Basically, apparently with Whitney Wild Rose, she was at a crossroads between going into more quote unquote big box stores, Sephora, et cetera, or going the MLM route, which as it turns out is how Justin has made his money up to this point, is being executive leader on MLMs. That's how they met, where she was an MLM girly, which honestly explains a lot about pretty much everything about her. Apparently, these are very popular in Utah as well. But they ultimately went the MLM route, and she's upset that she feels she was lied to and that it wasn't honest, which I think is a very valid complaint. Like, hey, my partner pressured me into doing business this way. Here's my problem with that. She knows what an MLM is because she's worked in them, and she knows what the structure is and how they make their money. And if you don't know, multi-level marketing is there will be people in the comments arguing, no, it's actually not that. MLM is a pyramid scheme. If you ever see anything that is MLM related, run away. It is always a scam.
Always, where the people at the very top are the only ones that really come out of it making money.
Yeah.
Usually you're paying for product to then resell.
Yeah.
And you have to keep things on stock.
And before anyone jumps in the comments or anything like that and tries to say, oh, well, that's how every business works. People at the top make the most. In every business I've ever worked in, the people at the bottom still get something remotely resembling a living wage. Like, that is just that's not going to fly. But anyway, so what jumps out at me about this entire discussion is listen to their talk, replace the word MLM with pyramid scheme, and then you realize how, I think, to me, you can really see how culpable Whitney is in this.
Right.
And it just, like, I think they're both absolutely at fault. I think they're both fully culpable and fully responsible for this. I think it's the smart thing to be pulling out, but to try to shift the blame onto Justin when you knew this was MLM, and regardless of the success, you knew this was unethical. It is always unethical to work in an MLM or to build an MLM or be part of an MLM. And it's just to walk around the entire season being like, oh, well, I made a business mistake. I'm trying to take accountability. And then as soon as we have an actual conversation about it, you're blaming Justin. It's not giving real accountability, Whitney.
Yeah, that a person on Reddit, Designer222, did a deep dive on like the journey of Wild Rose Beauty.
That's designer with a Z and no G. DEZINER 222.
But basically, yeah, to Eric's point, Whitney Rose has always been a part of the MLM scheme. But I think where she's hurt is that she had that Wild Rose Beauty brand for a while before Salt Lake City was a show. And she sees it as her baby, but was essentially convinced to pull that into the MLM business model. And in her mind, she thinks that there was an opportunity for her to eventually be in Sephora because they reached out for one meeting, but you don't, like, as you know, it would take more than one.
Yeah. You know what? Ask the entire cast of Vanderpump Rules in any season and their experience doing auditions and acting and callbacks. Mm-hmm. How little a meeting means.
But luckily, it seems like Justin's left the MLM world. He's still in a very, like, I don't understand what the company is that he's in now, but
that's
either
how you
way,
know it's legit.
he's out of there. But it was an interesting conversation that some people are believing it'll be a little deeper next season, possibly could lead down the lines of divorce. And speaking of, another Todd has
it's a bad year for Todds.
fallen
tough time for Todds. We're going into 2026, 3 Todds later.
Yeah, though Bronwyn didn't want to share much more about the possible open relationship in episode 13, it seems that these conversations have caused rift in their marriage.
Don't name your child Todd if you want them to have successful marriage. Oh, or that. Because we lost Bronwyn's Todd. We lost Candy's Todd. What was the other Todd?
Alexis
from
Miami.
Todd from Miami.
Yep.
So it's fucking curtains for Todds in 2025. 2026 too, probably. Look out.
But we'll see. I always say you'll probably lose your man in the same way you got him. Whitney got Justin Rose when he was a married man, when he was an MLM.
I mean, they were just together at Britney's cabaret thing.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, honestly, if there's any two people that should be over this and should not be broken up by this, it's them two, because they're both, like, you're both culpable. Just have accountability to each other on this.
Touche.
Because it's both of your fault. You both thought, hey, let's take this business that may or may not be doing well. Not even getting into the whole Alibaba thing and all that stuff. But, like, let's take this business that is ostensibly doing well and turn it into a pyramid scheme. You're both fucking idiots for that. And not to mention monsters for that.
Monsters.
You deserved to fail. Both of you. You should be lucky that's all that happened, is that you failed.
Yeah, you're not passionate enough about this, Eric. So Bronwyn also held a Boston Spill the Tea party as a celebration for her becoming an official United States citizen. I don't know why anybody would be wanting to do that.
Yeah, why do you want? I mean, well, it's actually valid. She was like, I want to vote, which I'm honestly like, good on you, girl.
And I guess that was last year where she didn't know we'd be in this hellscape. But anyway,
yeah.
So the Boston...
Wait, how far in advance is it filmed? Is it really not... Was it really... Do you think it was filmed before the 2024 election? February to May. So no, that's this year. That's post-election.
Okay, so...
Good on you, Bronwyn.
So she does want to stay in this hellscape for whatever reason. But anyway.
Wow. Imagine just having a free ticket back to Canada and being like, no. Although then again, you're on a big TV show, so whatever.
And got a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that Bronwyn, the producers did that quiz. How many amendments, or what are the first 10 amendments called in the Constitution? How many senators are there? Bronwyn was the only one that could get it right, even though she doesn't have a college degree, as Lisa
loves to point out.
And we were browned out on vacation watching that and knew the answers to them.
Yeah, because it's basic civics. It's crazy that all these... Yeah, whatever. Like, this is so indicative of America. It drives me crazy. How do you not know? Just never mind. Whatever.
But Bronwyn's whole, we're going to spill the tea and, write down a name of someone that you recently spilled the tea on. It just was giving Shio versus Happy Eddie to me, because Heather did do this at that. Honestly, that was one of her more iconic moments. go through your phone and pull out the worst text you've said about
I
someone.
really can't wait till like in like 3 years, Heather's gonna show up for like a game that she's playing. There's just gonna be a gun on the table.
I mean, it's escalating there because Wendy's inspiration from Heather was
If you could kill anyone in this room. Heather's next name is going to be kill someone in this room.
Why not? And you particularly loved Bronwyn's little speech, right?
Oh, yeah. It was, quote, they spilled the tea, and after the mess was made, they cleaned it up and were able to move forward for the American Revolution, the Constitution. And I think that applies to us today in this group of friends. I don't know if that's a one-to-one analogy to the spilling the tea that is intended here. And also cleaning up was not the point at all. But I admire the effort. I also really did appreciate that the tea came in those large boxes and was thus actually quite accurate. I had initially thought that, like as a kid, I always imagined it was like liquid tea, which is ridiculous. And then, as an adult, I learned like, traditionally tea, especially that was being shipped overseas, was sold in these like wafery bricks sort of. And I was like, oh, it should be bricks. Wrong. It literally was like in crates. It was in big boxes. So
go ahead, Bronwyn, with your accuracy, historical accuracy.
Yeah. The only thing that's slightly inaccurate, and which this would be a ridiculous expectation, is that when they threw the tea into the harbor, they actually they would open the box and ruffle the leaves out and throw them out. But still, you know what?
Okay. Bronwyn.
You
weren't.
I stand by this level of effort, and I thought she did great.
It also came out during the Spill the Tea party that Lisa Barlow has 2 horses.
Allegedly has 2 horses, possibly just rents them or bets on them or something. What is she doing with 2 horses that she can't tell us?
It's nobody's business.
She said it's nobody's business. What is she doing with 2 horses? And
then they also made friendship amendments during that time, right?
Yes, they did, and I wrote them down.
Ooh.
So each housewife put out a friendship amendment, and we're going to see how this plays out in the following episodes. Bronwyn's was families are off limits.
Already F that up.
Yeah, that's already not going good.
The next episode.
Bronwyn was families are off limits. Heather was be a woman of your word. Meaningless. That's not going to go anywhere. Lisa, be the friend you expect others to be. Meaningless. Also, you don't do that, Lisa. Also, shut up. Mary, hear each other and forgive. Never going to happen. Just not going to happen. But A for effort, because at least it's, I feel like it's something Mary actually would hold to.
Yeah, she will at least.
Whitney, business, marriage, and children off limits. So interesting because it's not substantively different from Bronwyn, except she added business. Why would you add business to that, Whitney? Are you ashamed of doing an MLM? Ooh. Is there some issue there? I'm curious. Businesses are never off limits, Whitney. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, that one is just it's not right.
Angie K, don't say things without documentation. Good in spirit, not going to land. It's just not how it works on any of these shows. And unfortunately, we can't run this like a law office.
Without documentation is crazy.
Yeah, without documentation is wild. This is going to be a very silent show.
You can't say anything without documentation.
I don't like that Angie K is trying to get this show off the air. If that's the way we go. Brittany, see the best in people. Simple girl, simple answer, whatever. And then Meredith was my favorite. Stop the reactive abuse.
Stop the reactive abuse.
Which when they then read the definition, clearly implies that Meredith committed some abuse, and it cracks me up that Whitney just let that she was just thrown.
Whitney feels
such
that
a line.
It's what Meredith is doing rather than feeling like. I don't know. The whole point was just out the door.
Just missed it.
You are allowed to have reactive abuse, I would think.
Yeah, I think if you're being abused, I mean, you're not supposed to, but you know what I mean. That's in a perfect, healthy world. the Meredith's own thing implies that she's committing abuses to her castmates, which is just ridiculous to me. But yeah, so Bronwyn's thing. We're now on to episode 13. Bronwyn's families are off limits thing clearly did not pan out. There was a discussion in Greece over lunch or something about her being in an open relationship or talking about an open relationship as she did in prior episodes. I was very puzzled by her behavior because Bronwyn was very much trying to shut down this conversation.
Sad because the episode she had with Whitney was so enlightening and good to see on a show like this where it's Mormon culture, so you don't hear women talk about that kind of stuff. And then immediately the next episode.
Like, you don't need to lie, Bronwyn. Like, there was literally no wrong answer other than saying, like, I didn't talk about that. You could have said anything else, basically.
But it's obvious. It's like she most likely had a conversation with Todd. It didn't go the way she expected it to, because I think the conversation she had with Todd was like, well, like, if you want, like, I see you're not happy. And he's like, no, I'm fine. Which is
also why I'm glad they're splitting up, because if Todd is trying to exert, like, some level of control of, like, don't talk about this, don't talk about me on the show, like, you're not in any position to do that, Todd. This doesn't work. You should have kept her out. You should have done what you could to keep her from doing the show in the first place if that was so important to you. But you explained to me, you pointed out that she had just done Families Are Off Limits as her friendship amendment. So I can imagine why she's pretty pissed
and closed off about it. And also the girls were mad because they're like, well, she brought this situation up with Todd. And like, why would she bring it up if she didn't want to talk about it? And she actually didn't. Whitney, straight up, she's like, oh, can I bring this up? You're not wearing your ring. Like, she's the one that brought it up to the other woman. And then what's also funny to me is, not even funny, Whitney is mad at Bronwyn for bringing up the conversation about Meredith, yet Whitney can bring up the conversation that she had about Todd and secret.
Yeah,
so, like,
Whitney is often stunningly unaware of herself, which is just, I mean, this has been an issue with me for Whitney for a long time. I mean, she as we saw with the MLM thing, she did an MLM and then had the audacity to blame Justin for it. You did the scam, you know it's a scam. There's no way you did not know.
She's a little baby.
She's a 40-year-old woman. Like, at a certain point, there's no excuse for this. Just because you're 20 years younger than your husband or whatever does not mean you're a widow baby.
Well, speaking of little babies, I'm just so tired of Heather bringing up Planegate any opportunity she can and trying to get people on her side about it. I know that you're on the opposite side of this issue with Planegate, but I'm just over it. I'm tired of it. Just get over it, guys.
I think you're tired of it because you lost. No, but in all seriousness, the way it keeps coming up is starting to, like, grate at me. But I do think there's a point to be said of, like, there's not really been any accountability here. And on top of that, like, there's been this whole, like, you know, gaslighting of Heather and Whitney and the gang of being like, you know, oh, that's literally what you saw is not what happened. So I can understand why that's very triggering. But I just, my opinion is, as far as specifically how she, like, tries to bring people to her side when she was talking to Mary about the whole Meredith thing, and Mary literally goes, you should talk to her and tell that to her face, which is like, yes, at face value, that's good advice. But I think that's also, like, it's something that I think is kind of smart to do, one, on a gut check of, like, hey, am I crazy before I bring this up in front of everyone? And two, it's also kind of like being strategic, like, hey, am I walking into a mud fight where it's just me and Meredith, or am I going to have people on my side, or is everyone going to be on Meredith's side?
But she always tries that and it fails. It, like, backfires every time. And
she's bad at it. she doesn't set, like, even with the whole Lisa thing on the yacht, or on the below deck yacht.
Yeah, like, when she tried to go to Meredith and Whitney first.
Yeah, why not explicitly say, I'm going to bring this up and I want to know if you'll be on my side with this, instead of just bring, I mean, I know they're all hammered, but instead of bring it up and then just, like, no call to action there, and now we're just going to go to dinner and let's see how it goes. Well, then no one abandoned you if you did not specifically get a commitment for their assistance on this. That's not how that works.
Well, she's like, she thinks that since they were part of a conversation, they're also as guilty as her in the feelings that they have.
That's not how that works.
I know.
You pulled them into a conversation. They can't vampire bat disappear. They can't burst into a cloud of smoke and fly out the room. They're in the conversation now because you brought them in.
But to your point about, like, them feeling triggered because there's been no accountability, that makes me... So accountability is a word that's used a ton on The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And I think Mormons have this just feeling of accountability has to exist in every situation in their life. And it has to be the accountability that they perceive it to need to be. But I also think that they're triggered because of their Mormon faith and because they've been gaslit for so long.
Well, Heather talks about that in the episode. She literally says, like, hey, this is like people telling me that, you know, the entire history that I'd grown up on, you know, was or wasn't true and yada, yada, yada. Which, like, I mean, I think that's fair. But, like, me as a non-Mormon outside viewer, I'm like, yeah, like, like Meredith is kind of getting away with murder here. In my
And then
opinion, or trying to.
And then Whitney's also triggered twofold with the abuse and a substance abuse issues her father had.
Yeah. Now you pointed out that's a little bit of like reaching. You can't really have it both ways. I understand she's like coming from a place.
Well, I think that they both are kind of using the pain from their past as reasons to be mad at Meredith.
Yes, but it's mostly what Meredith did, and I think like they're using in some. So I think Heather's using it to illustrate. I think Whitney's being a little different in terms of the substance abuse thing when she throws out an accusation, which may or may not be valid, but like it's one of those things where you. I think it's important. I know it's hard to do, and Whitney's especially bad at it. But like keeping a cohesive narrative and like what you're trying to say, because you can't go from hey, I'm accusing you of being on drugs because I care, to then that's not what this is about at all. You know what I mean? I think that's what's tough. But where I will give Whitney credit, which I hate to do, is at the Grease dinner at the end of episode 13. You know, again, Heather brings up the whole just everything with the plane and all that stuff. Now Heather and Lisa are fighting, and it's kind of spreading around the table. And Whitney actually she kind of redeemed herself here, not really redeemed, but like she actually did a good one. Listen, by bringing everything back around to, she basically says, quote, this is not a direct quote, but she says, we're all fighting because of Meredith's behavior. Like, which I think is, whether you're on Meredith's side or not, I think she is correctly identifying what's happening here and giving some structure to this weird conflict that's going on, which is, again, because of what's going on with Meredith, it's causing conflict between Lisa and Heather.
Yeah.
And it's causing all this other conflict across the group that doesn't really need to be there. Literally all Meredith would have to do is be like, I did this thing, it was fucked up, I'm sorry, and like actually admit it. And I think you know what? I'm not a fan of Baby Gorgeous right now, but it is dragging Lisa down, and Lisa has on multiple occasions tried to kind of lifeboat herself out of there by doing some light disagreements with Meredith and like pointing out that Meredith is lying.
Yeah. It's just a complicated situation that I'm tired of. Like, Brittany accepted the apology from Meredith,
but she pointed out that now because Meredith keeps going at it, she's bringing, like, now she should be apologizing for gaslighting the group.
Yeah,
like it's bigger than Brittany now. Unfortunately, I get it. I'd be fine if everyone let it go. Like, I'd be like, oh, well, it's not really a resolution, but like, whatever. If everyone's fine with it, who gives a shit?
I know. I just wish she was better at Meredith was better at apologizing. Honestly, she really should just say, I was disgusted at my behavior and I apologize.
Yeah, literally,
just
and
everybody
be honest.
would have been fine with that. Like, a short 10-word sentence would have solved this all.
Yeah,
episodes ago.
I know. I'm on. There's part of me that's at this point is willing to bet that if she literally was like, yes, I did this, I feel I was justified. I understand you think it's wrong. I'll admit that I did it. I think if she really wanted to, there's probably a way to admit the truth, not really apologize, and still get away with it at this point. Like, I'm sure there's a way to do that, because I literally think, like, you know how it grates on you when like someone's, you know, the truth, you experience it, and someone's just like out here calling you a liar.
Yeah.
Like, it'll drive you crazy. So there's part of me that's just like, okay, just tell Heather and the gang that they're right, and just like, you can probably get away with it at this point. Because, I mean, it seems like Brittany's growing an audience now via this, and like I'm seeing like her cabaret show and stuff like that on social media, and it does seem interesting, and she seems to be getting a lot of support, which is fine for her. But, you know, I feel like there maybe before this could have been a world where everyone's just like, you know what, I don't like Brittany that much, but thank you for telling
now
the truth.
She's a star.
Yeah, now you've made her. Look what you've done, Meredith.
But speaking of Meredith, can I talk about my experience seeing her DJ?
Of course.
So Meredith Marks is on a countrywide tour with Out Loud, and she is doing 30, 45-minute sets across the country.
I can't believe she's only doing 30 to 45 minutes. Though. That's so funny to me.
But
is that just how long the playlist goes?
I'm not gonna lie. Since I was about an hour away, I did leave before her set ended because I don't want to get caught in traffic and like the Uber surge prices. And
I think you got what you needed out of the show.
So that's why I say 30 to 45. I saw 30.
Okay.
And then left. there's also like music or like sound ordinances in Philly, so I had a feeling it was going to leave. But anyway, I digress.
Jeez.
So it was an
Even at
interesting
Underground Arts too. That's crazy.
It was at a really good venue. It was actually at one of my favorite venues in Philly, which I give her props for.
Underground Arts is a place that if there's any place in the state that is not affected by noise ordinances, I would think it'd be there because it's basically a bunker. Like,
yeah, touche.
It's like a sub basement of this building.
It's underground.
Yeah.
But she had two openers, Joel C. and Maggles from Philly. They were sick. They killed it. And sadly, they cut Maggles' set.
Maggles is our friend.
In the middle of her last song. And started
Monique's taking this very personally.
because then the next song that they played to introduce Meredith was Respect by Aretha Franklin. And I thought it was a little shitty to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, Meredith does, the rumors are true. I don't think it's nastiness. She does use a playlist and make it look like.
Can you like tell? I'm not asking this as like a.
There's just no way her transitions are that clean.
Valid.
There's no way in hell that her
valid.
transitions are that clean after being.
Yeah, after you're watching two DJs who work on this as their full-time job all the time, and then you're watching Meredith Marks who just got into this.
Yeah, but she puts on a good facade. It looks like she's mixing stuff live. I don't know who's producing the music for her that she's playing with like these remixes of her voice over things. We had some Jennifer, what's her face? The gays are trying
Jennifer Coolidge.
Coolidge. Like we had some remixes of that. She also played Expensive by Erica Jane. I heard some Demi Lovato in there. She had really good mixes, I'll say. And it was entertaining. She looked really hot. Oh my God. So good for her age. I just can't believe that she's her age. I met a few people that did the VIP experience. They loved it. They got a lot of pictures with her, caviar bump. They said she was extremely sweet and welcoming.
She did not disengage with the fans.
No, she seemed like I saw pictures people were taking. Even she was giving out roses at the end, caviar bumps. Like it was a really good, entertaining show. It was very absurd in so many ways, but I love absurdity. It was very camp.
I think that's a good foil to our experience with Sonia at the meet and greet, only because like you kind of expect people are at their best when they're in a friendly environment.
Mm-hmm.
So like literally talking to people who like just like
Love you.
They adore you. They want to be around you. And like I think that's what also makes it like for Meredith. It's like that's what you expect, and then it makes the experience with Sonia so like. Yeah, how could you suck that bad?
Sonia was wasted, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I love Meredith does, she does some tongue-in-cheek stuff. So she played 365, the 360 remix by Charlie XCX, and it's like it has like bumping that, and she's like, who wants to take a bump of caviar?
Oh my God.
So she does like
it's a good impression.
Play. Oh, I'm obsessed with her, as you can tell.
Yeah.
But, as an aspiring DJ, I'll say I was not mad at her set. It was entertaining. She was dancing. She was interacting with the crowd. Her mixes were good. I would watch it again. I would go again.
Well, hey, we are now, for the first time, crossing the 1 hour mark.
Whoops. The last time we did that was like the Love Island reunion, I feel like.
Oh, did we actually cross an hour?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So let's just try to do like some TLDRs for Southern Charm and Potomac.
Yeah. Let's just rip through it. If I may. Whitner's party. First of all, great idea. The literary party. Everyone had to be a book character. Second of all, legendary Shep Rose costume by Madison. Absolute Ultra L Rufio costume by Craig, who is from a movie, not a book.
And L.
But he doesn't read, I'm almost certain. So.
And L, just like Behavior by Craig.
Yeah. Craig is not a boy's boy. Bringing up, quote, what Austin has done through both Shep and Austin under the bus. Sally enabling him on that is nuts.
Give some background on that.
So,
I know we're doing a TLDR, but...
Yeah, so basically, so Whitner, who is very quickly grown on me as a character on this show, I think he's a great addition.
He's definitely my favorite guy so far. Oh, yeah. Rodrigo, obviously.
Rodrigo, of course. But Craig is talking to Sally, sorry, and Austin makes some joke. I can't even remember it, honestly. Some joking snide comment about like, oh yeah, they'll be in the hot tub, and Craig, who is definitely back to old Craig, freaks the fuck out and starts yelling at Austin, calling him miserable and unhappy, yada yada yada. And literally does the like, you don't want to, I'll tell everyone what Shep knows, and yada yada yada.
But I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that. It's so insane. And Shep is left there kind of holding the bag, and really what happened to Shep is, in his own words, 2 girls came up to him in New York and was like, "Are you Austin's friend?" And he's like, "Yeah." And they press like, "Oh, well, Austin," and he kind of stops him and goes, "I don't want to hear it. I don't want to know. I'm not interested." And he let Craig know that conversation happened on the basis of like, should I even bring this up? Is this anything?
He is like, should I ruin his peace?
Yeah. Which there's certainly there's an argument either way in terms of like, yeah, you should bring it up, you shouldn't. I think the crux of the matter is that Shep was very intentionally trying to do things in Austin's best interest, not paternally, not saying, oh, he needs to grow from this, literally just being like, is this even worth bringing up on the show or in person or anything? And he was clearly trying to not do that. So basically, Craig is a nightmare for that. And in my opinion, no wonder Paige left. Dude seems like a nightmare. But Craig ruined Whitner's birthday, made Madison and Charlie leave, and Austin leave. It was his first it was Whitner's first party for himself since his fiance left.
So sad.
Yeah. Kudos to Charlie for trying to hold Craig accountable in a meeting the next day, or in a 1-to-1 the next day.
Even though Sally was definitely at the party enabling
the shit out
Craig,
of him. Yeah,
like crazy.
She's like, Craig is not a boy's boy. Sally is so clearly not a girl's girl, or really a person's person. So maybe they're made for each other. But no, a really impressive level of EQ there from Charlie, being like, "Yo,
you should feel bad."
Yeah, you should feel bad. You did a bad thing. Certainly a foil to Sally, the way Whitner is a foil to Craig. Like, Whitner is, oh, I'm not a litigator. I'm a whatever type of lawyer he is, but he's like just a responsible dude who like gets up early and runs and has a big routine and
has a good relationship with his mom.
Hyper responsible, whereas Craig is just kind of like failing up because he's on the show, it seems like. And last but not least, really surprised that Rod and Madison don't see how Shep did nothing wrong here. Like, we end the episode with them blaming Craig and Shep equally for Austin's predicament, which I think is kind of bullshit.
Because everyone treats Craig like a little baby, and it's starting to get on my nerves. I used to like him, and I keep saying it. It might be like the Paige effect, but
I don't even know.
And just knowing that he's MAGA.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that to me is a nightmare, but it does suggest, poor mental faculties. So maybe he's just not playing with a full deck, and everyone knows it. I don't know.
He definitely is one of those people, though, that needs to be sober.
Yeah, I think he needs to be sober, and or he's going to need to be babied his whole life, because he cannot handle an even playing field.
Because I liked him with Paige, but I think it's because he was sober.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why him and Paige broke up too. Like, maybe he went back to
I
the
think
bottle.
It's because he was MAGA. Unfortunately.
But that was our TLDR, or yours, the Southern Charm. I agree with everything
both
you said.
of our notes. But yeah, it's I think we're going to get into his sobriety conversation, because he used that kind of like a weapon last season. So we'll see how that holds up.
Going over to Potomac, I first want to start with, I realized Ashley Darby's tagline doesn't make sense when we were were watching Drunk on Vacation, because she says, "This cherry blossom's ready for a second bloom."
They don't do that.
Yeah, cherry blossoms, when they bloom, they fall off the tree and die. She meant this blossom tree.
Yeah, cherry tree.
Cherry tree.
I think it would be cherry tree, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So Ashley Darby, F you for that.
I mean, yeah, so much. Also, it's
for just that thing.
No, only that thing. Nothing jumps out. Like, it's so funny to me that also Ashley, so she breaks up with that Jack Harlow looking guy on this episode, and it's so funny to me that she clearly just cannot go on a regular date with a regular dude. Of course she can't. She's a housewife of Potomac. She's very successful and very rich. And it jumped out at me that, like, she's on a, I guess kind of a sweet date at like an arcade type situation with this guy. I can see why she didn't like it. But she, I mean, I would enjoy it, but go figure. But she also mentions Michael Darby of all people when talking about what she expects from dates. That's what bowled me over, because there is no such thing as a good date with Michael Darby.
And it was a picture of them like in the Bahamas or something, like
ridiculous.
So a lot happened over the last 2 weeks. I don't even know where to start or where to end.
Yeah.
But Angel still sucks. Kay still sucks. Kay's family is fine as fudge. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think like we're so far over time. I'm gonna just to keep it brief. We have the Sheo opening or the Sheo launch party. It was, I think, the big thing to me. I think we clearly end up seeing that Cookie is not a reliable person in all this, that Monique also does not trust her. Monique clearly thinks there is nothing to this whole Stacey thing. And Kay and Ashley are absolutely sickened by the fact that this is not turning into Monique hating Stacey.
Because it's their whole storyline. What else are they talking about?
Well, now that she dumped Josh, I'm sure she regrets that. She could have milked that one for the rest of the season. But yeah, they're continuing to accuse her of lying. The whole no more lies thing to me is crazy. Ashley essentially tries to yell at Stacey at her Sheo premiere event, or her Sheo launch event, which we are just tabling the fact that this is a Happy Eddie ripoff. But it is on Kay and Ashley and Cookie to prove the allegations against Stacey to be true, vis-a-vis calling Chris Samuels and all that stuff. It is not on Stacey to magically prove a negative. Right. And it seems overwhelmingly likely that Cookie or Kay called this stuff in and are trying to put it on Stacey.
Yep.
And they're upset that it's not working out. Why else would Kay be this upset? And I think Ashley's just along for the ride. And again, as I'm gonna say about Ashley what she said about Stacey, I'm not sure the elevator goes all the way to the top, because how do you not know as a almost 40-year-old woman that you cannot prove a negative, that it is on you to prove a positive in this type of situation?
Ashley, there are a few instances in this episode that made me feel that she's not working with all screws up there.
Yeah.
And like we didn't talk about the dinner that Monique had, but it's obvious that Monique is an independent thinker, and that might be a little
clearly very healed. Also,
very healed.
I think I made a joke about it on her first time she popped up, but like I honestly I think she's about that life.
And I feel bad now that I kept saying cough, cough, bring back Candace, because I'm happy Monique's back.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd like to see Candace also, but like I would like to see Candace heal like Monique.
Yeah, that's true.
But then would I? Because I think part of Candace's magic is how unhealed she is.
And Monique said she doesn't really see a need to like open and close that door anymore. So I don't know what that would bring out in her. Yeah. But
if I may, something that really jumps out at me about Stacey, and I think I mentioned this to you when we were watching, is yes, she lies. And I think I did the thing last time is that her lies are
victimless.
Yeah, her lies are victimless and her truths are televised or something like that. When she lies, she is not bearing false witness against people. Like, she'll lie about, we couldn't go to the thing because Timo couldn't make it. When Timo already said he can't make it, so whoever's lying, it's kind of whatever.
Or even she lied about Dr. Wendy not being able to make her Shio launch.
Yeah,
when she straight up told her that she shouldn't come.
Yeah. But it's like but she's not bearing false witness, being like, she's not like, Wendy said go suck my ass, I'm never going to your stupid child. Like, she doesn't do that. Kiarna, on the other hand, bears false witness constantly. Angel bears false witness constantly on this show, and it's like, and like, it's lying on other people is the big thing. Like, I think Stacey's lies are things that most of us do when we don't want to engage in a social situation, and you want to be polite. Like, there's this huge layer of actual politeness to when Stacey quote unquote lies most of the time. It's fascinating to me. I never thought I would do such a 180 on Stacey from episode 1 to now, but I'm literally like,
Well, how did you feel about the way Stacey reacted to Tia at her Juneteenth party /
Toodle doo is going to be an iconic line for decades.
I was a bit disappointed. I mean, I'm disappointed in Tia right now. I still like her, but I'm disappointed in how she's like not showing herself to be an independent thinker.
Yeah.
But she was very honest and upfront with Stacey ahead of the launch, called her and said she was unhappy. She wanted to talk about it. also didn't bring it up at the party, was doing her best to stay prim and proper, but Stacy wanted that smoke during her party.
I think what happened is Ashley did the thing where you rile up the dog.
Yeah.
And then, that's rude to. I'm not really trying to compare Stacy to a dog. I'm just trying to compare the behavior.
No more evil. No more hazing.
Exactly.
No more lies.
Stacy said no more hazing, and Ashley was just like,
No
no
more
more
lies.
lies. No more lies.
No more
She's
lies.
yelling at this. I just feel like it's one of those things where, like, I know this is a very Caucasian metaphor with the whole dog thing. But no, it's very, like, I think Ashley kind of, like, started this whole thing, and by the time Toodle-Doo came out, like, Stacy was basically just, like, point and shoot at the nearest problem.
Because they keep trying to show her to be a liar, but also every time that they're like, oh, you lied about this, like, still no receipts for the TJ thing.
Yep.
Still no receipts for this Chris Samuels thing. And every time that they do try to prove her wrong, it proves that she was right and not lying about these things.
And I think that's why they're so frustrated. But, like...
So she's frustrated as well, because it's like, what can she do for people to see in a different light?
I think what's happening here, I think this is going to be a hard lesson for the Housewives of Potomac, hopefully, which is like, to me, it's like Kiarna and Angel and now kind of Ashley are doing like full court press basically on this narrative. And again, especially Kiarna. And when you get that constantly, especially baking the fact that Giselle just baseline doesn't like Stacey, I think it can create this view of this person. And once you have a view of who a person is, everything they do is colored according to that, like according to that perspective. Think of anyone you don't trust. They can do something genuine. You will think it's untrustworthy. You will feel a way about it. And I think this is going to be a lesson of like, just remember what your fellow housewives are seeing is not what the audience sees. And I hope by the time we get to the reunion that there's going to be a little bit of a reckoning here around like, hey, maybe you guys were kind of spiraling around this and just creating this false narrative and almost like a tulpa out of this whole thing and feeding this lie until it became so true for you guys that it didn't even matter what the truth was.
Yeah, like Meredith on the airplane.
No, because everyone you know how I'm glad you bring that up because I talked about also proving a negative. I'm not necessarily talking about receipts. I'm talking about like I need a plurality of the cast to be there. I need a plurality of direct witnesses, not people who were at stuff. Because even on the cookie story, she didn't see shit.
Fine, Eric. Any other thoughts or feelings about Potomac? You want to get off your chest?
Honestly, let me look, but I feel like nothing important when Wendy not knowing her pin actually was amazing. That was almost my intro for this episode was I am Wendy's pin number in that I am forgotten. Yeah. So I think that's it for me.
All right, so let's move on to our special report. First up, Spirit Box. Poppy and Evanescence are going on tour with a special guest, Nova Twins. Have you heard of the Nova Twins yet?
I've not.
Oh, they're a black duo. They're amazing. They even have a tiny desk. But
Are they twins?
I don't think they actually are twins.
Wow, that makes it better in my opinion.
But
if they were like, I'm Steve Nova and I'm Stacy Nova and we are actually twins, we're the Nova Twins, I would have been out.
But I don't think they're twins. But they're amazing. They're a punk duo, and they will be on tour with the other three groups, aforementioned groups, in 2026, starting in June. I'm truly excited about this one.
Nice.
The Up, Up, Down tour with Yellow Card, Newfound Glory, and Plain White Tees will occur next summer.
I will never pay for tickets to watch Haley Williams' ex-husband. Sorry. Kidding, sorry.
I mean, touche.
Yeah, but hey, good news for you, or fun thing for Yellow Card. They were also brought up on stage for Jonas Brothers tour to do Ocean Avenue, so that's fun.
Aww.
I know, Jonas Brothers is really doing their emo. They're running their emo cred right now.
Love it. Ben Quad also announced a headline tour in 2026 to promote the new album Wisher, and they'll be joined by Riley, Aren't We Amphibians, and Footballhead.
Footballhead is Siski from Academia's new band.
Ah.
Yeah, he's in this other band, Footballhead, now.
I'm gonna listen to that. As we mentioned before, Whitney from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives will be Roxy on Chicago and Broadway. Nick Vile hates it, so be sure you support it. Jen Shaw was released from prison.
And hopefully
December
she's never on television again.
She will most likely be on House of Villains, or
She better not.
I don't see why she wouldn't be.
I mean, Grandma got a bunch of spam calls yesterday, so I know she's Jen Shaw's out of jail and working, evidently. So I don't know if she has time. She's back to it.
My faves, they're going on a 2026 headline tour as well next year. A lot of tours were announced while you were away.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're gearing up for summer tour season.
And there is a Boston Ice Tea Party on December 16th in Boston. We'll be sure to link the description.
Are we throwing ice in the harbor?
Maybe some ice will get thrown in the harbor.
Oh, nice.
But we'll link some info about that in the description as well. But that's all we got, Saddies. Thanks for listening or watching.
All right. This has to be a record. Longest episode, hour and 20 minutes. Hey, if you like what you heard today, go give us a follow on... Pick one of the socials. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. What else? Why are you on anything else? We're also on YouTube at reality_emos. Additionally, please leave a comment if you have watched the I Got Pregnant by the Wrong Twin show starring Shane, and or if there's anything else you'd like us to cover, or if you want to tell us we're bad. If you want to tell us we're good, please leave a review on whatever podcast app you are listening to this on. And aside from that, we will see you next time.
Bye.